Thanks to Aura for partnering with us on this video. To get your 14-day free trial, click the link in the description below.
So last time we left off, it's thundering and I can hear it raining. We may have to move this inside real fast. Last time we left off, you guys found out that we sold our van and we bought a new 2022 Toyota Tacoma double cab 6-foot bed truck, and we're gonna take it overseas. So today, the whole video is just sort of to fill in the blanks. I know you guys had some questions on that last video of why did you guys sell the van? Why wouldn't you just take the van overseas? And there's a lot of reasons for that, but mostly it's more expensive to take it overseas and it's really too big. And some of the countries we're looking at going to don't even allow RVs of any type. We're gonna have to do the most stripped down, bare minimum, while also being comfortable and having really safe, secure storage in the truck. Sort of build out. And that's kind of what we're gonna walk with you guys through today. So in short, I'm just gonna show you what we've planned so far and give you the idea of what we're gonna be doing. And truthfully, a lot of it's up in the air. And this is where we need y'all's help too, because working with a truck instead of a van, in both the vans especially, we knew what we wanted. Like there were tons of videos online about what to do for vans and tons of creative ideas, and you had a lot of space to work with. This is a little different because the idea is that we want it to be very minimal. And that's where it's getting kind of confusing because we know we need stuff, but we also need to keep it very minimalistic. So if you guys have ideas of components, of parts, of layout ideas, of any sort of thing at all, please drop it in the comments below because we really do need your help. Working with the truck is a whole new ballgame for us. But let's get to it. Like I said already, it's a 2022 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road pickup truck. And we have the double cab with the extended bed, or the long bed. So it's the biggest back seat and the biggest bed you can have. I guess we'll start with why do we go with this truck particularly? Well, we knew we really wanted something that would be reliable, and we wanted something that if something were to go wrong, we could find parts around the world. So we didn't really want to go American made because it may be hard to get those parts overseas. Toyota has a great reputation. We loved our little old Prius. I mean, the only reason we got rid of it is because we were living in a van and we didn't need a car, but we would have kept that car and it probably still would have been running. That thing was amazing. Toyota has been faithful to us. Chris had a 4Runner when we first started dating. We love Toyota. No, this is not sponsored, but if anybody knows anybody at Toyota, send them our way because we're already big fans of this new truck too. It was down between the Tacoma, the 4Runner, and the Land Cruiser. Now, the USA is no longer importing the Land Cruisers from Japan. So that to us was sort of like, it instantly drove up the prices stateside. We knew that the cost of the Land Cruisers that are stateside now, they were already expensive and then they just kept going up because the demand is still really high. There's sort of like this cult following on the Land Cruisers. You can't kill them. So Land Cruiser was our we wanted this car because there's an old saying that goes, if you want to see the Outback in Australia, if you want to see the Outback, take a Land Rover. If you want to get back, take the Land Cruiser because Land Cruisers just go forever. But they were not in our budget, at least what we could have gotten a Land Cruiser for what we got this truck for, it was too much. It would have been like a 20-year-old car with 100,000 miles. Anyway, it would have not been a great buy. Now, the 4Runner was also a really great option. We love the 4Runner, but we ultimately decided that we wanted a separate area from where all of our stuff was, where it was gonna be stored, and keep the cab of the car a little quieter, and then the back of the truck, we just throw things in if we need to. A little bit more rough and tumble kind of thing. Like, you know, it's gonna have, we'll probably do something different in the floor, like make it more level so it doesn't have the ridges in it, but we wanted something that you could just toss all the buckets and bins that are gonna be on top of the roof rack of our car, just in it when we're shipping it. So we wanted to be able to get dirty and be a little rough, that kind of thing. Ultimately, we landed on the Tacoma, not the Tundra. Tundra's too big, but we'll get to that. This may sound crazy. This is not gonna be an RV. This is not gonna be a conversion of sorts, really. But I think it's very important, just talking to other overlanders, to have some sort of a toilet, which sounds crazy, but this would actually allow us to have a toilet, and the 4Runner and the Land Cruiser would not. We can build something to where it's hidden, it's away, and we need it to be a composting toilet, not a cassette toilet, because dump stations are not gonna be common overseas. And so just being able to have liquids and solids separate, we won't get into it. Composting is gonna be the way to go. Closer. All right, so let's talk why we sold the van. We sold our van, like we said, for a couple of different reasons. Primarily, it's just gonna be too expensive to ship it overseas. The cost of shipping this truck versus shipping the van is thousands of dollars every single time. There are a few different options when it comes to shipping a vehicle overseas. You can roll on, roll off, known as Ro-Ro, which is the cheapest option. However, you don't get to drive it on yourself. Somebody actually drives your car onto the boat for you. There are horror stories out there of people ripping out the radio in your car, of breaking down whatever sort of camper modification you have and just ripping stuff out. It's not the safest option, especially when you're shipping it to ports that are known to be corrupt. So say we go to Bangkok or Mumbai or something like that. Those are known for being slightly more corrupt than, say, Brussels or Amsterdam or something. Ah! I saw lightning. So we knew that... Laying on fire here right now. Roll on, roll off. If you want to do that cheapest option, you can take the van. That's fine. But the most secure way to do it is to ship it in a shipping container, like a cargo container. The smallest and most affordable cargo containers, you have to keep your vehicle below 7.5 feet. So right now, the truck is below 6 feet. It's like 5'10" right now with the size of tires we have on it. So we know we have about 1.5 feet comfortably to work with. So whatever is gonna go on top of our car needs to keep it below that height limit. And then if anything extra goes over that, it needs to be able to come off the truck and be put into the back of the truck while we're shipping it. The Tundra was instantly out because it is just too big. And so we landed on the Tacoma. Also, the other reason we sold the van was because German parts are harder to find. And we'd love to ship our truck to South Korea one day, and rumor has it that they're not even allowing German imports in right now. These are all what I'm learning on the dark web of all of the overland forums, which, by the way, crazy cool community. The van life community is cool. This is just a very different form of that community. These people have seen things and they have lived life in some really crazy ways. Our first stop, this is the first time we've said this publicly, I think. The first stop that we would love to ship our truck to is gonna be Asia. And getting German parts to Asia is gonna be a lot more expensive than getting Toyota parts. Ooh, shoot. So for those 3 reasons, size, there's the height restriction, there's the parts, if we need it, being expensive. And then the third reason is that Thailand specifically is very particular about what vehicles come in. Now, you may get a nice border guard who lets any sort of thing like an Earth Roamer or a Sprinter van come through the borders. Legally, you're not supposed to have an RV, a camper, anything like that. You can bring a vehicle with a tent, which is what we're gonna do. And now we're gonna wrap this up and go to the next session at home because it's raining. Let's go.
Wait, tell them about
Oh, now while it's gonna rain, we're gonna switch to what we're actually using on top of our truck, which is by Rossmonster, and it's gonna be below 7.5 feet, and it's gonna be awesome. Let's go. This is an exciting day. We are in Longmont, Colorado, and we're checking out what we think is going to be the camper that we put on top of the truck. This is the one that we went in after doing a lot of research. We're like, this is the one we want. Unfortunately, they were not at Overland Expo and the P&W. They're gonna be at the one in Colorado in a month or two. But now we get to see it in person. They invited us to come see it on our way back east. And we're so excited.
We're excited. So, and if you haven't seen that Overland Expo video, it's right here. And let's go. These guys are called
Rossmonster.
Rossmonster.
I think they started in vans and now they've created this really cool hard top, like tent top for a truck bed. Oh, there it is. Oh man, that looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks amazing. They have the best looking one by far. How do you spell Lagon? How do you say it? How did he say it? Lagon?
These are both prototypes, so
Okay.
like ask a bunch of questions.
Okay.
Sure.
Like anything you're like,
And then how do you pronounce it?
log 'em.
Logum.
Okay, yeah, I said Lagon with its way off. Lagon.
And then
Oh wow. So cool.
Whoa.
That's amazing.
That was a lot easier. I know we watched the video, but
Yeah,
I mean,
watched it several
it's a video, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, yeah, that's a lot easier in person.
so you hop up here.
So cool.
Release your front wall. Push your walls out if they need some help. Back. Wow.
That's so cool.
We'll look at that airflow.
Oh, that's so neat.
Hot
Oh my
box
gosh.
in
And
there.
I didn't, we're sitting on top of the deck, so we weren't planning on doing these because we were going to get as much height as possible, but
That's amazing that
That's
you
pretty
have that
cool.
much height with it.
Yeah, like I can't fully stand up in
Sure.
here, but I mean, it's still like I can move around and live in
Yeah.
the space if I had to.
looked at a lot of products lately, and this one's the one that kept standing out to us. Cool. And then for this, do you guys just store stuff on the side of it, or how's that work? What's
Yeah,
that
so
for?
you can like, so these are essentially like our take on Molly panels. So this is L track pattern.
Oh,
okay.
cool.
So, but yeah, so you just
So you
make
push
sure the
wall
walls
in.
want to go in.
Okay. So that's heavy.
Yeah,
Here.
you guys want to put it up and down.
Do you want to?
Go ahead and try it.
You go ahead, because I know you're going to be the one doing it on the road.
Like getting
And the trick to put it up and down is you just want to do it like even.
All right.
Right, like it shouldn't ever like fly off the side of the truck, but if you're like, let's like,
Okay.
you know, let's turn it like a book, might not work as well.
Gotcha. So, I see what
A little bit, and you'll get used to it. Like, yeah, no, and that's totally fine.
Is it? It's not going to break.
No.
No.
It just like we don't want you to like intentionally lift one side.
Sure, no,
And like
yeah.
keep the other side down. But what you'll feel happen is, as like these gas trucks get really hot, like you'll feel like, when
Okay.
you're parked in the sun.
Yeah.
Like this side's like a little more pressurized, and you'll
Gotcha.
but-
okay.
you'll get that all dialed in.
Okay.
But yeah, like that amount of misalignment, like that's part of it. I've done it a few more times, so I kept it more
Okay.
level.
Yeah.
Even if we wanted to do the skinny, like the skinny Xanthe
Yeah.
ones we put on the side.
Yeah, and so the idea for storage up here, you know, if you guys want to run crossbars off of
Yeah.
it, great. You know, it's like,
I like it.
Yeah.
I love it, actually.
I mean, you could for sure,
We could mount it up.
put your Xant panels in front of these.
Okay.
Um,
I loved it. I think I just saw a little glimpse of what our trip to Asia and beyond is going to look like. It's not going to be a van. It's not going to have all the luxuries and amenities that our vans have had. But I think I'm really excited for that. Just back to basics idea. They're like, are you guys sure? Like, do you know? Like, do you want to try it out first? I'm like, no, once we set our minds on something, like, we're pretty good about sticking with it. So I think it's going to be the perfect bet. So I don't know if we told you guys by now, but it has to be very minimalistic to go into certain countries in Asia. Like, they don't want campers, they don't want vans, they don't want that kind of thing, specifically in Thailand, which is one of our favorite countries. So we have to go. It cannot be an RV, it cannot be a conversion, it has to be very fly under the radar, and this is technically a tent, so we should be good to go. I hope. But we're really excited. It's about the most comfortable a rooftop tent can be. It's gonna have electric, it's gonna have insulated walls and a fan and windows and plenty of storage. So I am ready to get cracking on this. Let's go.
Because we travel a lot and we work from the road, typically we'll be found at a coffee shop or an outdoor patio like this. And that means we're using public Wi-Fi networks, which typically isn't the safest bet when you're traveling abroad. So enter our good friends Aura, who are partnering with us on this video. Aura is this all-in-one tool for those of us who are traveling, or if you're staying at home, can use. It's like the Swiss Army knife of staying safe online. The average person out there has about 90 different accounts that they're managing online. So that's banking information, that's Hulu and Netflix, that's all of these different passwords that you're trying to keep up with. And if you're anything like me, you probably don't have 90 different passwords for all of these different accounts that are hosted online. And from firsthand experience, my passwords and all my information have been leaked online, and it's not a fun thing to deal with when somebody's taking money from your bank account. That's why we're really excited to partner with Aura on this video. Aura is this identity theft, fraud monitoring, VPN, password management, and an antivirus software, all combined into one easy app. Aura monitors the dark web for your emails, passwords, and social security numbers, and sends you alerts fast right to your phone and email. And remember, while you're sipping an ice cold coffee, that you can securely be on any public Wi-Fi by using their VPN. Look, I don't need to tell you more on Aura. We use it all the time while we're traveling. And if you want 14 days, 2 weeks for free, all you have to do is go to the link down below, sign up. Trust me, you're not gonna regret it.
Barely made it inside. We're gonna stop for a few minutes. We're at home on the front porch. So I think we left off with the Rossmonster. So you've seen now what we're gonna put on the truck. We're really excited about that. It's going to have the roof rack built in on it, so we can put things like, you know, either Pelican cases or Roam boxes on top of the car. And I should probably stop with this. And then we will move those boxes inside the truck, underneath the camper, like in the truck bed when we ship it over. So it'll be below 7.5 feet, but we'll have tons of maximized storage. That is ultimately why we went with Rossmonster. We have watched their van builds for years. They are doing all sorts of really cool other products now, including this one. And we saw it, we're like, that fits the bill. That is essentially what we need. So if you're interested, links are down below. They are in production and you can buy them now, but they're booked a couple months out as of now. So in our van, when we did this video of like planning our van conversion, in our second van, I pulled out the iPad. And I'm going to pretend to be all artistic here for a second. I'm not very artistic, so please be forgiving. I'm gonna record my screen while I do this. The truck bed is roughly about 6.5 feet long, about 5 feet wide. Got cab, rear, and then this is passenger and driver. The idea in this is that there's a few must-have things in the rear of the truck. We need to have our electrical components, so we're going to be working with AM Solar to assemble these electrical components. Kind of a cool setup we're going to be doing, but essentially it's going to be in a box. We're going to ship a box to them, and then they're going to mail the box back to us with everything wired and assembled, and it's going to be really cool. So all we do is plug it up to the solar panels. So it should be very straightforward. In our last two vans, we have done all of the crimping of the lugs and running the wires, and this time it's going to be much more straightforward, and we're hoping that by sending them a custom made box and them assembling it for us, that they're going to be able to get in a much smaller, more compact area than what we could do. Our other options would be something like a Goal Zero or a Yeti, and we didn't really want to go with that because if something were to go wrong with it overseas, we would probably not be able to get one, or if we had one shipped over to us, it'd be very expensive to pay import taxes and that kind of thing. And if something goes wrong with this one, we can probably figure it out. We can problem shoot a lot better piece by piece versus, a massive thing, and a lot less likely to have something go wrong if you do use those components and make your own. So we want to have our electrical system. We want to have our toilet is the plan. And then we know we want to have a fridge, and we want to have plenty of storage, and we'd like to have a bench too. So when you pop open the Rossmonster rooftop tent, essentially the sleeping area is mostly over the cab of the truck with the exception of like a foot or two. So when you stand up in the back of the truck, you actually have like a ceiling up in there. So we can make it a living area. So if we're camping somewhere, if we go to Europe or Asia or wherever, and we're at a campground or somewhere beautiful, and we do want to utilize being in the truck, we can. Even if it's a rainy day and we need to hop in back and get some work done, we can. We'll have a bench. Hopefully we'll have some sort of maybe pull down countertop or workstation. But that area is going to be more livable than what we ever anticipated. It's not going to be fancy, but it's going to work. Tentatively, right now, what we're thinking is a L-shaped sort of system here. And we're going with the L shape because we want to save all this open area right here so that when we're taking the boxes off the top of the car and storing them inside the truck, whether we're shipping it in the cargo container or if we're going to be away from the truck for a few days, say we're in Thailand and we're flying home for a few weeks to take care of things, we can just stuff everything in the trunk. There's nothing left exposed, or on top of the car, everything's pretty well locked up. So we want to be able to have lots of room to take those containers, store them inside, and make the truck compact. So right here on the front, I think we're going to put the fridge first. That way, if we are just driving and we want to hop in the back and grab snacks, we can just pull that out and our fridge will be easily accessed and we don't have to crawl all the way back into the back of the truck. And then next to the fridge, we'll probably put our toilet. And I know that seems like such a weird thing to put in a truck. Like, why are you putting a truck? Just stay home. But I think if we are on someone's farm or we're way out in the middle of nowhere, or if it's pouring rain, just having that option there, we're probably not going to use that often. It's just going to be nice to have. All right, and so all of this extra area right here, this is such an ugly drawing, Chris. You think they can see what this means? Sorry. And then also in here, we're going to need to put our electrical system. So this exact placement may change, but this is mostly to scale. One other thing that we are going to put in, and I don't think it's going to take up much room at all, it'll probably go somewhere right in here, but a heater. And we're going to do most likely the same heater that we had in our van, the S-Bar D2 heater, and we're going to do diesel. Now our truck is not a diesel truck, it is a gasoline truck, but after talking to everybody, that is going to be our best option. People say the diesels are more reliable, they're less expensive, and it's such a small tank that you'll need to run this heater that we're just going to buy a separate tank. They actually make these. People like us put diesel heaters in gas autos, so you can put the heater in a separate little tank. It may be anywhere from, I think I saw 3 liters to 12 liters. So I think that should be able to last us days. And we can find diesel most places around the world. It'll have to vent to the outside, probably like here. And then the heat should, heat rises, so it should carry up into the top of the truck. On top of the truck, I already mentioned we will have containers of stuff. That'll probably be things that are, recovery gear for the truck in case you get stuck, or hiking boots, or Kramer's gear, or dog food, or something like that. And then in the back seat of the truck, the plan is to use Goose Gear drawers. We're going to actually delete the rear seat in the back, and we're going to put a drawer system in there. And that drawer system is going to be pretty much dedicated to camera gear, which is a lot of camera gear. So this is one of those things that we kind of want y'all's help on. Like how can we best keep our stuff safe? Like, we know that there is no perfect system on the road, but we don't want to feel like we can't leave our truck. We want to be able to go out on a hike or go out on a tour and know that our truck is mostly secure and safe. So if anybody has any ideas about securing things, whether it's, this is a crazy extreme, but like bulletproof glass, nobody can shatter the glass to get into our truck, or certain locks on drawers, like what would you guys suggest? We want to hear your ideas, because as many precautions as we can take, the better. And if we lose stuff, if things happen, it's part of it, and we just have to have that insurance there and that budget there in case something does happen. But like every good adventure, there's a little bit of risk involved, and that's kind of what this is. Give us your ideas. And as far as layout, we'd love to hear your ideas about layout and products and components and that kind of thing. We don't really know a lot about the whole truck world, so suspension or wheels, tires, recovery gear, like this is the kind of stuff that we need y'all's help. Like, we are learning, and Tacoma 3G forum has been super helpful so far. A lot of really great information out there, but we'd love to hear from you guys. So please, any information you have, drop it in the comments below. If you think it's a lot of information you have to share, maybe email us. So that's one of our favorite things about the Overland community so far, is that people are incredibly helpful, very much like the van life community, but it's very much helping you. Like, van life, I feel like, was very about the rig and about a certain way to travel, whereas I feel like overlanding, people are definitely building their rigs to take them places. Like, what is going to be the most efficient and the safest to get me from point A to point B? Like, let's go have an adventure. It is a tool. And I feel like that's where Chris and I were a lot of the time with vans, is that it was our tool to get from point A to point B. And I think overlanding, people get that so much. They're like, oh, well, we did, it may not be as pretty as our vans or anything, but it works for that lifestyle, if that makes sense. Lots to learn. It's a fun community so far, but this is pretty much the gist of it. I know that's not much. Truthfully, it's hard for me to envision it too right now, because it just seems so far away. But in an ideal world, we'd have our Rossmonster top tent in the next month or two, but time is flexible on that. It's a new product for them, so they're trying to get all the systems in place. And so in the coming weeks, we will be releasing another video about prepping to go overland internationally, but that, rather than being about the gear, it's going to be about the route and the itinerary and the paperwork and all the logistics that are going into it. Trust me, I have so much to learn still. Even in that video, you guys are probably, if you're experienced overlanders, you're gonna listen to that and be like, she's really wrong, she needs help. But please help us by all means. So if something for some reason happens in Asia and Asia starts locking down again, or some crazy thing and Asia doesn't work, it'll probably be Europe first. Those are the two, right? Those are the two top ones for now. We would love to see the whole world. We're just taking it one leg at a time. So Southeast Asia is where, all during the last few years when we've been at home for the most part, we wanted to get back to Asia. And I think this is our chance to get there and then to explore slowly and see places that we never would have otherwise. You want to come over here for this? So we are home right now. We've been home for about almost 2 weeks since we sold the van, drove back across the country. We've been home for about 2 weeks. And today's Friday. We leave Sunday and we're going to Colombia. Actually, the day this is released, we'll be on our way to Colombia.
So we will be in South America. Yes, we are going to Colombia. So if you have any recommendations while we're in the country, please let us know.
Yeah, so you're going to see us switch gear from truck, van, stateside travel to international. This is just us bridging the gap in these little segments of our time until the truck is finished. And we wanted to go to a country now in these off weeks that we're probably not going to be driving to. So I don't think logistically we'll be driving to Colombia.
So we're not going to wait around here. We're taking you with us. Let's go.
Spoiler alert, there's going to be a lot of coffee had in Colombia. All right, see y'all soon.
Yeah. For behind the scenes and extra content, you can head on over to our Patreon community. Otherwise, be sure to follow on Instagram or like and subscribe here. It really helps creators like us.